sitting comfortably?
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Are You Sitting Comfortably on East London Radio in the year 2016.
It's the future. Welcome to the future, everybody.
Welcome back to the future.
Oh, there we go.
Because we did this in the year 2017, little known to our audience, and then we came back in a DeLorean and I presented it to East London. No.
Where are you going with
I
that?
don't know, no idea.
Start as we mean to go on. Hello.
The show begins with the usual level of finesse. My name is Roo. Your name is?
Scott.
And we're here to discuss movies.
Yes.
And their scores.
Which is good, because if we weren't discussing movies and such, I'd be a bit out of my depth. But
What do you
never
mean?
mind. I wouldn't know. Well, if we were talking about, I don't know, nuclear physics, for example.
The Hadron Collider.
Yes.
Is that anything to do with nuclear physics?
I think it is.
That was a lucky
actually, yeah.
guess.
That was very well done. My favourite thing about that is it Hadron or Hadron? Anyway, my favourite thing
that's a
is
good
that it
point.
looks very much like it says hard on.
Ha ha!
I know, which is why I'm not a nuclear physicist, because I just spend all my time giggling.
We're in. So it's January of a brand new year, which means we've all got New Year's resolutions on the go. But isn't it something like the 10th of January is where people tend to give up on their resolutions, and then we have something. There's a name for it, isn't there? Like the most depressing day of the year,
Tuesday.
And everybody starts to get a little of the winter blues. And then you go and watch sad movies, right?
You can if you want. I tend to just eat too much and masturbate myself into a coma on the sofa. But
Well, that's what's called oversharing on the radio,
yeah.
Scott.
My housemates aren't clean either, but never mind.
Joy is the movie that we're talking about this week.
It is.
I didn't cry. I didn't get too sad, but it certainly, I think, has the potential to make people cry, tear up, well up. I mean, that's how it sort of positioned itself, with sad little piano-y music such as that which we opened the show with, and dreaming and wishing and family and snow.
Even if it's fake snow.
Even if it's fake snow, but that in a way added charm. We're going to talk about joy in enormous amounts of detail.
Really?
Later.
Enormous amounts?
Later on.
Lordy.
But what are your New Year's resolutions?
Before we get into that, I just
when
want
you
to
give
say-
up on them, what sad movies are you going to watch?
Oh, I see. Well, we're also going to talk about the Danish Girl, because I saw that on...
Oh, yes, we are, yes.
The weekend. So we have 2 movies this week. Very exciting. My New Year's resolutions. I want to look good. I want to look better naked.
I like you exchanged good for better.
You know, I don't want to toot my own horn. So I want to look better naked. I want someone else to toot it for me.
I see.
Get hotter, get richer. Those are generally my New Year's resolutions.
Those are good resolutions.
Yeah, I thought so. What about you?
Well, as you know, I'm no longer allowed to mention a certain television show on this radio program.
There is that, yes. I think we should have some kind of forfeit that happens every time you do.
What
I don't
do you
know.
mean?
I want it to be... I'm tempted to say something like you have to buy the cake for us to eat the following week.
Contradicts your get better naked
exactly.
resolution.
Damn.
Although there's an incentive for us both there to not mention the show. That I shouldn't mention. Weepy sad movies. Titanic always makes me cry. I've mentioned this before. And The Holiday. That was our Christmas special episode, which you can listen to on Roobox. On Roobox.
Yeah.
You can, mixcloud.com/Roobox. But of course, we have our new website here for the show, which is elrcomfortably.co.uk, which also has a wonderful archive page for you to have a butcher's at. What makes you cry?
I haven't seen it yet, but I am going to watch Mummy by...
The Mummy?
Not The Mummy. Not the one with Brendan Fraser, but Mummy, Mommy,
right.
by Lars von Trier. As I've been told, it's very sad, and I should take my tissues. And I've been told it's not harrowing, but I will need a tissue. So that's my movie for this afternoon. Actually, I'm going to watch that later.
I've been told that Angela's Ashes is quite sad. Never watched it.
Oh, I watched that. It was just bleak. It didn't make me cry. It just depressed me. You know the difference between like,
yes.
oh, I'm not sad.
I'm just
Can't see the
severely
point in
depressed.
continuing. Yeah.
And the boy in striped pajamas is apparently very sad.
Oh yes, I haven't seen that one either. Just for that, for the fact that it was very sad, and I didn't feel like having a cry that day. Is that a good
Yes, you
enough
have to
reason?
be in the right kind of mood for that kind of thing. Don't you?
Yeah. Sometimes any movie can make me cry. I'm going to mention Mary Poppins again, because if I'm in a sad mood and I watch Mary Poppins, when she leaves, that makes me cry. Stupid, but there you go.
Lion King, yeah.
Yeah.
There's another example of
Lion
that
King.
kind of happy movie, and then all of a sudden there's a sad moment. But I was trying to think, what was the saddest movie from 2015?
Ooh.
Because we've been debating about which are our favourite movies from 2015. Are there any sad ones in that bunch? I mean, Mad Max didn't particularly pull at your heartstrings, did it? It was
There were moments when the older ladies, got killed off. Or...
one of whom is from the aforementioned show I'm not allowed to talk about.
Yes. Well, there we go. And then, so there were little sad bits. And, it was quite sad when Nicholas Hoult, in all his topless glory got dead.
Well, hang on a minute. Couldn't you classify that as a spoiler?
So that was an amazing build-up. That was fantastic.
Yes.
Well done there. I'm sorry. Oh.
So other than Mad Max, what movies from 2015 hit you?
Oh, well, did you cry when we watched The Witch Hunter and Michael Caine's character apparently died?
Well,
right
no,
at the beginning?
I didn't.
No, it's good because he didn't stay dead. So,
Well, yes, but what about
I'm doing it on purpose now because I really like that noise.
What about the Good Dinosaur? That was a good one, wasn't it?
That made me cry from start to finish just because I had to sit through it. It's a waste of 2 hours.
Now,
of my
hang on.
life.
It sounds like we're having trouble remembering good movies.
I'm
from
having
the year
trouble remembering my name, sweetheart. I didn't have to drink yet.
2015. There were a few duds. I mean, let's look at them.
Just a few.
Jurassic World, big dud.
Yeah.
Spectre, dud.
They weren't so much.
Star Wars.
Get out. They weren't so much duds, the first two, as they were just mediocre. I think.
What, Spectre? Mediocre?
Yeah. It wasn't.
I suppose it wasn't too
forgettable.
offensive. Although
It wasn't
it was.
bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't like The Good Dinosaur bad. It wasn't like The Witch Hunter bad. It was just kind of like,
I don't know. The Witch Hunter was at least trying something vaguely inventive, whereas Spectre was literally a clip show.
Yeah, you're right. They were all crap.
But you know what? Their soundtracks weren't bad, were they?
Good segue. Well done.
Yeah, usually
there.
when you've got a bad movie, you can still enjoy the soundtrack. So, without further ado, if you don't mind, Scott, are you in the mood?
Even if I do mind, you're going to do it anyway, aren't you?
Are you in the Are you in the mood for a bit of a countdown?
Apparently I am. Yes, because I've just read the sheet in front of me. Go for it.
This is the top 10 best soundtracks from 2015 according to Are You Sitting Comfortably? There we are.
Ooh.
The best soundtracks of 2015 in my humble opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, not bad. But
Yeah, I'd agree with number one. Mad Max was flipping fantastic.
yes, I think that, I think the decision among the global population is unanimous that Mad Max was the greatest movie of 2015. I think that it may have struggled to reach those heights without its amazing score by Junkie XL, to be honest.
Would have been. Imagine going in any car for 2.5 hours
Yeah.
and just driving in silence.
Yes.
It's pretty much the same.
Which is why I'm very excited about the soundtrack, at least, to Batman versus Superman. I'm not so excited about the movie itself, as we've previously learned on the show.
We've already seen it. We've watched the trailer. We know what.
Yes, exactly. It's all in there. You'll be pleased to know that I've annihilated my Prometheus baby with a lovely cup of peppermint tea.
Okay.
Yes, I started the show with a horrible stomachache, and I'm just very pleased that it's gone now.
Right.
So, yes.
And we didn't have to cut you open and drag it out of you.
No.
Which is a shame.
Bonus all round.
Wow.
We're asking for the rest of the show a question.
Okay.
Any ideas what?
Well, I imagine it's who said that.
It is.
It's the question we ask every week, isn't it?
It is. Who said this?
Ooh.
Any idea who said this? Hmm?
No.
No ideas.
Not at the moment, no.
If you know at home who said, do get in touch with our Twitter at ELR Comfortably. Use the Facebook page, facebook.com/ELR Comfortably. And if you're having any trouble finding any of that stuff, you can go to elrcomfortably.co.uk. Easy peasy.
Very easy, quite peasy.
Yes.
Can we have a clue? And clue.
It is tenuously linked to today's main review.
Which is joy.
Yes.
All right. Wow. Interesting. Okay.
We've got some movie news, do we not?
Oh, yes. Let's go live to our movie news desk. Roo, over to you.
Yes. Apparently,
smooth, wasn't
fans are petitioning for the return of George Lucas.
As
in to the Star Wars movie, he's not just sort of gone out for a cuppa or something.
My first reaction is to say large spherical objects to that particular statement.
Large spherical objects?
Balls.
Oh, very good.
I know, right? I was trying not to say the word. I think
you've said words.
I have said words many times. I think this is untrue. I don't think it's fans. I don't think it's fans. I think it's George Lucas and his mates.
But they say it's in the interest of symmetry.
I don't care about symmetry. I care about good films.
It might be in the interest of Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, Jar Jar Binks started this flipping petition. I think...
well, as we know, Jar Jar Binks is...
awful.
No.
Dead.
Is the
Awful.
bloke. Who's the geezer in charge?
What?
The man.
Snoke?
Snoke. Emperor Snoke.
Emperor Snoke. He's not
Jar
Emperor.
Jar
He's
Binks
just,
is Emperor Snoke.
You keep saying
Or all-powerful Snoke.
You keep
Or
saying
Leader
this.
Snoke, or whatever his name is.
Oh, no.
It's like Wizard of Oz. Jar Jar Binks in the back there with his levers.
I don't think that was Jar Jar Binks. It's been a while since I've seen The Wizard of Oz, though.
Well, no, but don't you think it's sad that George Lucas has nothing to do with his baby?
It's a bit like Child Protection Services. If you abuse your baby to the point where you've done it considerable harm, it gets taken off you, and you're not allowed to have anything to do with it anymore. And I think that's right.
Well, it's a nice way of looking at it, but that would mean that doesn't J.J. Abrams now live in a shoe full of children, or whatever the little poem was?
We are torturing this metaphor, but I'm enjoying it. Yes, I think that's true. And J.J. Abrams is some kind of manic foster parent to every child ever.
He's got all the kids latching onto his shins, walking about, like the crazy cat lady, but with children.
Yeah, screaming at him, and he feeds them all, and they all become a little bit generic. A little bit less than they used to be.
There is a little bit more Star Wars news.
Is there? Go on, then.
In that the film, Rogue One. Yes, A Star Wars Story. The trailer for that may well be attached to Captain America 3.
Civil War.
Yes, just
Little
after
shout out to Civil War, my drag queen friend. Sorry, carry on.
Civil
War. Yeah.
Sybil Haw, surely.
No, War spelled W-A-U-G-H.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yes.
So Rogue One.
Just after we've caught our breath from witnessing the return of Spider-Man to the big screen, they. Oh no! Of course, they'd show the trailer before, wouldn't they? Not after.
Usually, the trailer comes before the film comes out. If you do it the other way around, it's a little bit of a letdown.
Yes. Okay. Well, it would be that visit to the cinema with Spider-Man and Star Wars. Very exciting trip to the cinema, I think. Bombardment of excitement happening there. Are we excited about these spin-offs? I mean, there's going to be a Star Wars movie every single year until
we all get dead.
Well, no, just until it turns awful, which in my opinion
was 2005.
15. But every year, I mean, that's the same frequency with which the Saw movies were released.
And they were all awful. So, there's the...
5 was mediocre, but 6 was the best Saw ever.
Right. Back to Star Wars. I agree. I think you're right, which isn't something I say often. But I agree with you that, I have no interest in these spin-offs and that kind of like...
Well, surely the quality is going to go downhill.
I think the idea is that if you do it in the same universe, but it doesn't directly affect the narrative, then you're given quite a lot of freedom, and you can do what you want because you can introduce an entirely unrelated cast of characters, and so do your own thing. And there's a lot of potential for doing.
So they're doing a Star Wars cinematic universe like with Marvel.
Yeah, and sometimes that works, but not always, if you look at the DC universe, for example.
Can you believe we've come this far without a Marvel character as the lead in a Marvel film who is black?
Right, very weirdly phrased sentence, but I get what you mean. You mean there's been no black leading man?
Yes,
There's
in
been
the Marvel.
There's been no female leading character in a Marvel movie either.
Well, this is true.
Or a gay one.
Yeah, well, this is true. They should get a black lesbian as the next Marvel superhero. But Black Panther is going to be that movie.
Yes. When's this one out? Is that 2019? It's a few years off, isn't it?
Well, no, wouldn't that be... Oh, no, let me double-check this.
All right, sorry, I shouldn't have asked you that question.
No, you shouldn't have.
I'm terribly sorry. But yes, Black Panther, it sounds a little bit...
2000 and... No.
No?
No. That must be another Black Panther.
Was that 2001? So we've missed
No, it's 2018, apparently.
All right, well, still a couple of years off.
Yeah. Which is embarrassing for the movie industry, surely. Come on, let's get a black lead.
Yeah, we're in the future. Where are the minorities in these films?
Something I noticed in my little chart of best soundtracks for 2015 as well.
What, there were no ethnic minorities?
Where are the women?
Oh, yeah. Well,
women don't seem to compose for film.
Or maybe they do and they just don't get ahead. You know, Hollywood is run by old white straight men.
It's shocking though. When I put the list together, I thought, well, hang on a minute, where are the women? And then I had a look through sort of the ones that I hadn't put in the list. It's just difficult to find women, but we have here in the studio, just presented on a screen here, a list of female composers. May I grab this and have a peruse and see if there's anyone I recognise? Let me see.
I think we can. There are prominent female figures in film. We've got people like Dame Maggie Smith. We've got Jodie
in film,
Foster.
yes, obviously
in film. But there's still, I think there's still a long way to go until we have a more diverse and more equal.
Yeah, I'm looking at these names here, and there's not one that you would recognise as being published sort of as doing, like a big Hollywood film. Nobody on the scale of, say, Michael Giacchino, who didn't actually feature on my list.
Gosh.
Yes, I know. I was surprised at that
as well. And he's your favourite.
Well, yeah. I think he's sort of our current John Williams.
I like John Williams. You know that.
But I think John Williams. I don't mean to badmouth old John Williams.
Steady on.
But I think he could have done better with Star Wars.
You just didn't like Star Wars right across the board,
did you? I mean, you look at the movie and
that's how you watch them.
And you see things happening, but
yes.
John Williams is just in the corner going, and there's nothing happening on screen that kind of matches his rhythm. And I know he's done in the past things that are a bit more sort of they call it Mickey Mousing, where the music kind of matches the motion of the characters and the cutting on the screen. Whereas with this current Star Wars, it just felt a bit like he'd already done it, and they just
remixed.
They just stuck it on top. Yeah.
My favourite thing, just a slight tangent here, was when they were the big promotion for the movie. They had Pentatonix, one of those a cappella groups that got really famous after Glee started, and there's a big one in America called Pentatonix. I really fancy Mitch, who's one of the guys in it. But anyway, they
was
did
in Star Wars.
No, they did a Star Wars promotion thing where Harrison Ford was kind of talking through John Williams' scores, and he kind of stands on stage. He's like, many of you will know John Williams for this, and they did the Jaws one. And then they did, and this one sounds familiar, and they did Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And then they did the big Star Wars thing, and Pentatonix came out, and they were doing like an a cappella version, accompanied by John Williams' orchestra, which was really silly because it was just them standing there going da 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 da.
Yeah, but if you've got the orchestra, you don't need the.
Yeah, it just felt like they were singing along. It was very, very weird.
You'll have to sling that on our Twitter feed, comfortably.
What it's actually quite good. Yeah, I will.
Stick it up. Did you know that John Williams composed Star Wars thinking it was a children's movie? So that's a children's theme you can hear there. We're going to play some music before we review Joy.
Yay! What are we listening to?
To Love Somebody by the Bee Gees.
Ooh.
From Joy.
Excellent.
And we're back. That was exciting.
It's quite a relaxed one, that one. I felt quite mellow.
It was an eclectic mix of music in Joy, and an eclectic cast. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, I think it was interesting to see. Well, not so much interesting as it was lovely to see Isabella Rossellini, who is awesome. Even her name is awesome. I like
Isabella Rossellini.
It really kind of like comes off the tongue quite nicely.
It's like an Italian ham.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir. Do you have any? What was it again?
Isabella Rossellini.
Yes. Do you have any of?
I'd
like some Isabella Rossellini in my sandwich, please.
We've a few slices left, so
I don't know. I don't shop for Italian ham. I may be making this up.
And but did you enjoy the slice of Isabella Rossellini that we got in the film? Oh, I just like saying it. Did you enjoy the slice of her? What we got in the film?
I did. Yes. It was enjoyable. An enjoyable slice.
Tasty slice.
She was one of actually she came along sort of later into the movie than everybody else, and had, I'd say, a heftier segment than most of the sideline characters, such as Robert De Niro and Bradley Cooper. Certainly,
I was surprised actually at how late Bradley Cooper came into it, and then how little he's to say.
Well, he was just a lot of the time he just spent going, yes, come on, yes, oh, we got a call, whoa.
Yeah.
That was Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper, the cheerleader in this particular film.
With pom-poms.
Yeah. I wonder, and you know, we always see Brad and Jen. Oh, they are Brad and Jen, aren't they? Together.
And that's happened a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. And, I mean, because they did Silver Linings Playbook. They did,
which was good, but very long.
Yeah. And what was the other one? I forgot the name of it. The heist one. Something Hustle.
The American Hustle.
American Hustle, yeah. I wonder if they're that kind of. Are they the new? Do you think Helena Bonham Carter and Johnny Depp? They don't do films without each other anymore. Well, they do obviously. Cause
but Helen Bohemian.
HBC.
She is Tim Burton's other half, isn't she?
Other half.
They've
separated.
So that's why she's always in his movies.
Well, she's quite good.
Is Johnny Depp their bit on the side? Do you think?
Well, who knows? Who really knows?
Very exciting thought.
But then, I think that seems a bit reductionist, especially as we're saying that there needs to be more leading ladies in Hollywood and there need to be more women. To say that she's in his movie because she's his wife does make it a little bit. I wasn't thinking because she's a woman. I was thinking just as easily the other way around. If she was the director, then Tim Burton would be in all her movies. It's what you do when you're a couple, isn't it? When you're all loved up. You think of your other half more than you think of others. Yeah, and I suppose in a way you kind of write or you direct for that person because you know them well enough and you know what they can do. But then is that a good thing? Because then we end up with quite bland movies like Crimson Peak that's got both of them in it. That wasn't brilliant, even though it had both
Crimson Peak has both who in?
It has Helena Bonham Carter and not Crimson Peak.
I was going to say
Dark Shadows is what I'm thinking of.
Oh, I haven't seen that, but yes, I know who you mean.
Yeah,
did Danny Elfman do the theme as well as usual?
I don't know. It was a bit bland.
That's their little foursome, isn't it?
And just I don't know whether Tim Burton directed that one actually, but it wasn't very good.
Wouldn't surprise me. It's got that look. Anyway, we're talking about Joy.
We are talking about Joy. Sorry,
Joy.
I went off on a complete tangent for the first time.
Which reminds me, by the way, we're asking who said. Who said? Yes, we'll get back to that later. Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro.
Bobby D.
Yeah, what? Yes.
Bobby D.
What do we think of him?
I've never met him.
Now, do you think he's got an evil twin?
I've heard this theory of yours before, and it amuses me. Would you like to expound on what you mean by that, Roo?
The evil twin theory of Robert De Niro is that his evil twin stars in movies such as Dirty Grandpa, and his other better half, his acting twin, legitimate sort of proper emotional drama twin, does things like Joy.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Why not? That's it. What would his evil twin be called? Steve.
No,
Steve
probably be Bobby D.
Bobby D. All right. So you've got Robert De Niro and you've got Bobby D. Hey, yeah. Bobby D.
Bobby D did The Intern, for example.
Yeah, he probably did. Well, no, I think Robert De Niro wasn't the thing that let that film down. That was again another bland.
I know what you're going to say.
Film. It was
another bloomin' leading lady, wasn't it?
We've got to get rid of them all. No, that's not what I was going to say at all. I think it was there were some failures with the kind of story in that which was a little weak in the story. And it
the
was
most
vague and
important
unfocused.
thing in a movie is the story. You've got to have your story.
That's what you're there for. You're there to tell a story.
Which is why halfway through Joy,
yes.
which is should have been called Mop.
Or Stress.
Yes. I was thinking, why am I here watching a movie about a lady who wants to make a mop? Why is this the height of drama in Hollywood right now? Is this how bad it's gotten? We either have Star Wars...
Everyone's saving the galaxy.
We either have... Yeah, no, this is my point. We either have Star Wars or Lady Makes a Mop. Where's the middle ground?
Well, I think Lady Makes A Mop is the middle ground.
That's the name of the movie.
Lady Makes A Mop. I think. No, I was quite pleased that it wasn't this huge, earth-shaking discovery for a change. It wasn't. It was something quite low key, but still, it was important to her and her family. Obviously,
Yes, exactly. Important to her and her family. Why am I watching it on the big screen?
I got quite emotionally involved. Actually, I didn't cry, but it stirred something in me. If you will.
I wouldn't say I was emotionally attached to it. I just wanted to see her get a bloomin' mop in the shop.
Well, that was it, and that was the struggle. It was like
That's why I say
small
it's
town girl defies this like awful grasping do you down family, and actually manages to make something of her life despite disaster after disaster after.
But there are plenty of examples of that kind of story that don't involve a mop.
Well, the mop was just the MacGuffin. That was just the thing in the middle of the story that she could focus around to make her life. She had other ideas as well, like I can't remember, velvet coat hangers for one, and a couple of others that came up later that she also invented.
But the trailer did make it look
like she was going to become a gangland boss. I was quite excited.
It was Lucy 2 or something. Remember with
no,
you
no.
What's the name of the lady from Black Widow? What's her name?
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson. Yes, leading lady film there. Lucy, go and watch that. It made it look like she was going to march about for 2 hours, firing guns at people, threatening people in small rooms.
She did both of those. She fired a gun, not at anyone.
Talking about guns, talking about shooting people, going a bit crazy, slicing her hair off. Oh, she's a mental woman, this woman. Not once in the trailer was there, I'm just gonna draw a mop.
Well, I think... Once again,
do you fancy a mop?
You're missing the.
Could I put my mop in your shop?
Missing the point of this film. It was smaller. It was lower key. It certainly wasn't Hollywood blockbuster things exploding, people running down corridors. But I think it had a little bit of heart. It was quite nice. It's based on a true story, so as with anything that's based on a true story, it's very rare that you get explosions and exciting stuff. You don't get everything you want.
Stuff,
Mr.
Lots
Bond,
of
stuff. Yeah.
Do you think that the film would have gotten made if it wasn't for the cast? If I marched in to like a movie producer office or something, and I said, "Listen, I've got a film about a mop. A lady makes a mop, changes her life. She makes lots of money."
I don't know.
Do you think if I didn't say Robert DeNiro's interested?
We've got J-Law for the main part.
Do you think they would have gone, I'm sorry, but there's no... Look, we've got the next Star Wars to think about.
So are you saying that you think it got made because the cast wanted it, rather than because...
But then my other question would be, why were the cast so
because it's not a bad
enamored
story.
by this
It's not a bad story. It's an interesting story. It's quite nice.
But at which point, during the read-through of that script, do you reach the part where it becomes less about mops and more about determination? Because then, yes, I agree with you. There's a point, certainly, I'd say in sort of the third quarter, where I'm sitting there thinking, how is she going to come back from this? And that was an exciting moment, yes.
And I did feel...
But there was a lot of moppage before.
Yeah, I think the pacing was a little bit off. I think you're right. It was very end-heavy in that the first half hour dragged, and I get the feeling that the first half hour was meant to show you how much of a drag her life was amongst everything else. And it certainly was. It like, her life was drudgy, and everyone lent on her, and she like looked after everyone, whether she wanted to or not, and it was kind of that could have been a bit shorter.
Yes.
And I think then you get to the end, and everything kind of goes, oh, and then this happens, and then some of the other things happens, and then bye. And yeah, it felt like it had dithered around for half an hour that could have been better spent towards the end of the movie, telling us a little bit more and expanding on that a bit. Maybe just, but then at the same time, I'm not a movie writer, so.
I'm just going to toot my spoiler.
Well, you haven't spoiled anything.
No, but I'm about to.
Oh, Lord. Go on, then.
What do we make of narrators from Beyond the Grave?
Oh, yeah.
It's not too much of a spoiler, really, because the narrator starts off old. So, yeah, every movie a bit like Joy is going to have a...
And you call it Joy, you know it's going to have a sad bit.
A sentimental, sad moment.
Yeah. Which is absolutely ruined by the family, which I thought was a brilliant touch because it really made me hate them. How not only did they intrude in Joy's sad moment, but they also got in the way of the audience feeling sad at that point as well. And it was just like, and the frustration I felt was quite good because it helped me identify with Joy in that kind of, what the flip are you doing talking about this now, you complete arse.
I was talking
Do you know
about
what I mean?
mops at a funeral.
That was very clever, and I liked that. But what was your question?
Narrators from Beyond the Grave. We've seen
yeah.
it before, us together on the show. We saw it on Legend with the two Tom Hardys and his deceased girlfriend.
Another mediocre film. Last year was a mediocre year.
It was a very
film,
mediocre
wasn't
year.
it?
It was.
Blimey.
And
yes,
I wouldn't say that one worked.
No.
I'd say this works better because they don't. The narrator herself doesn't really dwell on the fact that she died.
No,
she glosses over it.
Well, she just kind of say, "I hated to leave her that day."
Yeah,
but
because that was a brilliant impression.
Thanks. Well, normally my lady impressions are up here, and I thought I'd do something different because I sound like Mickey Mouse when I do that.
Should we do the rest of the show as ladies?
Absolutely not. However, if we're going to talk about things like that, I think now's a good segue into the Danish Girl. Because,
oh, good lord!
Yeah, because
bit of an inappropriate segue.
No, because I actually have a point here, and it's not as inappropriate as you might think. So the Danish Girl.
I've got my finger on the fader.
Yeah. Are we doing 30 seconds? Did you want to do 30 seconds of Joy after we talked about that?
Well, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. Or shall I do a 30 seconds of the Danish Girl?
Chuck me.
Excuse you?
Sorry. I was going to say, chuck me 30 seconds of the Danish Girl, but I've just got to find it first, you see. That's the trouble. But I haven't... We've spoken about Joy, but should I give you 30 seconds first of what Joy's about?
Oh, go on then. Since we've already got through it, but tell us anyway.
Oh, this is off the top of my head here.
Go on then.
Okay, so Jennifer Lawrence decides that she's fed up of cutting her hands on broken glass when she's mopping up a wine glass bottle for no reason on a boat. So she decides to make a mop that you can't touch. Well, you can if you want, but you don't because you pull the thing. And QVC, Bradley Cooper, becomes very interested in the idea eventually after a lot of hard graft, and then it goes on the television. Doesn't make any money at first, then it does make money, and then her sister sells off parts of the mop, and she has to work hard to get it back by threatening a man in a big hat, and then she wins lots of money and becomes Oberhauser in a big house.
Possible spoilers there.
little tiny spoilers.
Just a smidge of a spoiler in that you've given away the entire plot of the film.
At the beginning, it said this is based on a true story.
It did.
So, if you're familiar
with Joy Mangiello or whatever, Mangiano,
with magical mops, etc., you'll know the story off by heart.
Wow.
Scott,
yes,
would you like to give me the Danish Girl? Oh, it sounds a bit...
You can keep...
Sounds a bit... Give me 30 seconds of the Danish Girl.
I went on a date last night. Went really well. He gave me the Danish Girl afterwards.
Oh, all right, 30 seconds in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, there we go. Okay, Eddie Redmayne is a painter, and he's married to another painter who's a lady. And the lady painter is a portrait painter, and her subject doesn't turn up on time, so he has to stand in, and he puts the stockings on and wears a dress so that she can get the light, the angles and stuff that she's doing right. And he realizes how much he enjoys it, and it awakens in him this transgender urge, and he goes on to become the first. He explores this further and becomes the first male to female transgender operation patient.
Yes, yours was certainly less spoilerific than mine. Well
again,
done there.
Thank you. And again, based on a true story. Yeah. However,
can't we use our imaginations anymore?
Well,
that's a pretend protest.
I think it's a really worthy kind of story. It's one that you want, that I was actually went into excited about. I was keen to find out the story about the first male to female transgender operation. And then I saw it, and it just didn't grip me at all, which is a shame because I think stories like this are important. They need to be enjoyed by a lot of people, and this just trudged on. It was beautiful to look at. Everything about it was
good cinematography. Then
amazing, like kind of Wes Anderson levels of flipping gorgeous.
Everyone's getting a bit Wesy.
Yeah, there was a bit of Wesy in a bit of Wesy.
Getting Wesed up here.
Yeah. Well, this one was every single scene was was beautiful. There was like stunning locations, stunning sets, beautiful costumes. The whole thing was gorgeous. And I was more interested in that than I was in the plot. Quite
But
a
at
bit
least
of
you
the time.
had that. At least
Well,
it
yeah,
wasn't
there was
dry looking.
No,
You
it was
weren't
really good.
invested emotionally.
I got a little bit bored, if I'm honest.
How long?
I can't remember. I think probably about 2 hours, which seems to be the standard for movies nowadays.
Yes, it
and
does, doesn't it?
quite a lot of it was Eddie Redmayne, who is a very, very good actor. He's already won all of the awards. He's already won an Oscar for, I want to say The Imitation Game, but it wasn't. It was the other one. The Stephen Hawking film.
Yes, but have you seen Jupiter Ascending?
No.
Where he's just going, I'm going to kill you, all the way through.
Well, in this one, he does a lot of, like, it irritated me how much he did this, was a kind of coy, looking away, kind of thing. And it began to remind me a lot of...
Jupiter Ascending?
No, of Little Britain with that, I'm a lady!
Oh, good lord. No, that's not what you want, is it?
I felt all he was missing to
Did he occasionally...
to stray into that territory was a fan to flutter behind. And it really... And maybe it's a cultural thing, because maybe in the... I think it was the 40s that this was done? Maybe in the 40s that was... in Denmark, that was the kind of female cultural... thing. You were expected to be a bit simpering.
You think even ladies were putting on that front?
Yeah, but perhaps it was a social thing at the time, which, nowadays, looking at it with a 21st century perspective, we're thinking, stop being so soft. But obviously we have to take it
that was a bit soft.
Yeah.
Oh,
we have to take
please, stop being so soft.
I know. But no, and it was a little bit, just kind of like, it got on my nerves a little bit. And I found as well that... obviously, he dresses as a lady. We get this from the to kind of explore his the female side that he feels growing in him. And as he dresses as a lady, everyone just kind of takes it as read that he is a girl because they dress him up nice and put makeup on him.
You mean no one's at all suspicious?
Apart from key characters, and it's like the only people who can but can see that this is Ina and not Lily. Lily and Ina are in fact the same person-ish.
So is it a bit like when Superman just pops on a pair of glasses?
I think so, yeah. And there's even a line where Ben Whishaw as the kind of is trying to seduce her, and he's like, "You're not like normal girls," and you just think, ugh. As he actually just said.
So you think some of the dialogue's a bit too clunky? It's not really getting the correct kind of message across.
It felt like a waste, not entirely wasted, because it's a lovely film and it's timely that stories like this are being told. I just think it's slightly missed the mark for me, which is a big shame. And also, and this is one of the thoughts I had as I was watching it was this: it's a good job that Ina was such a was so easily transformed into a woman that so many people didn't notice. Because if it had been played by or if his body type had been more kind of Vin Diesel, for example, and you put a dress on him and go, "I'm Lily," and everyone's like, "No, you're not. Stop it. What are you doing?"
They probably considered that when they were doing the whole casting thing. They
but then at the same time,
wouldn't see Vin Diesel on as the Danish Girl.
No, not at all. But my point is more that if this is the true story and that Ina actually did this, then it's a good job that Ina originally was of the right frame and size and general face shape to get away with just putting on a dress and a bit of makeup being called and being taken for the woman that he felt he was inside. You know what I mean? You
could say that it would make for a more interesting and emotionally demanding story if that wasn't the case. If he was more of a Vin Diesel.
Oh, no, not so much Vin Diesel. I think Vin Diesel's an extreme example, but I think perhaps more...
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Just if there was a little bit more...
Hagrid.
No, stop it now. If there was a little bit more of a transformation, because you saw him kind of affectating the mannerisms and things like this, and learning to put on the makeup and the wig, and that was it. There was no, he didn't have to. There were no big transformations for me, and there
wasn't sort of like a Rocky training montage.
No, exactly. Which I would have, which I think. And the surgery towards the end was very much kind of, it felt glossed over, that was probably the scary bit. He could have died, or she could have died. Sorry, and none of that was really touched upon properly, and it wasn't as explored as much as I would have liked. And I've talked about this long enough, but so it's okay. I think it missed the mark a little bit.
Do you have any idea who said this?
Absolutely not. I want to say Melissa... I want to say, not Melissa, what's her name, McCarthy?
I'll have to reveal the answer after our next track from Joy.
Go on then.
Called Markham. And I'll have to watch The Danish Girl.
Yeah.
Not wash.
She can wash herself.
Funky bit of music there from Joy.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
See what you did there.
Yeah. So who said...
I've got some kind of Pixar character in my head.
Ah, do you? Well, that's
Yeah.
convenient because...
Is it?
It is.
You are my map. Let's go. Lead on, mind map. Show me where we're going.
Okay, only I'm too sad to walk.
It's Joy from Inside Out.
I see what you did there.
Yes, Joy.
Amy Poehler, who I love. She's amazing.
Yeah, tenuous link, but still.
I liked it.
Inside Out was definitely a highlight of 2015. Mad
Max, Inside Out.
Oh, that sounds like the name of an adult movie.
Ooh, that's bad. Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, Mad Max and Inside Out, I think they're the two best, really, from last year. I really do. No other movie last year made me... Actually, we started the show searching for an emotional film that made you cry from 2015. And Inside Out really pushed me very close to the edge.
Oh, I was a mess. Inside Out. It was the volcanoes on the little short beforehand. That I was in tears. I was an emotional mess by the end of that.
That was awful.
Kicked me in the feels. I was already down before Joy even started. So, yeah, no, I really enjoyed it.
That was awful.
It was really sweet.
That lady volcano was way out of his league. There's no way he would have got her.
Well,
it was like Jabba the Hutt.
Maybe she likes a bit of rough. Were you saying earlier, off air earlier? You were saying that you like a bit of squidge yourself. You like it. Maybe it's the same kind of thing with
touch
volcanoes.
of squidge.
Anyway, that sounds
he...
like a very strange David Jason. Is that what I mean?
Yes, he was rock solid through and through. Anyway, not David Jason.
Oh, right, okay, sorry.
The volcano, because he's a volcano. Nothing squidgy about a volcano.
Well, there's all the lava and stuff, magma.
You'd take your oven mitts, wouldn't you?
Well.
Anyway, so that's the end of the first show of 2016. Wasn't it fun? Lovely, lovely, lovely.
We're starting as we mean to go on. It's just going to be a noisy mess from here on out.
So, if we had to choose between Joy and the Danish Girl,
Joy, but not by. They're both good, but Joy this week was I was more into Joy. I was more emotionally invested in Joy. The Danish Girl was a bit dry. And her mop, yeah. Danish Girl was a bit dry. Joy had her mop.
All right then.
Yeah.
Well,
next week, what are we watching next? I'm going to watch The Hateful Eight.
You are, and I want to watch Creed
because you like boxing movies.
Yeah, indeed. Yes.
So there we
Sweaty
go.
boxing movies.
So that's what we've got to look forward to for next week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Join us next week for another thrilling episode of Are You Sitting Comfortably?